All right, welcome everybody. In an effort, I'm trying people every single day here. I know you got a lot of topics which are not so, might give you indigestion. I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer. You remember Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live? That skit. Wah, wah. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here on the podcast, on the radio shows. I just have to tell you what I see. And all of these things that we talk about, that we have talked about for a very long period of time, is nothing surprising, nothing new. Everything that's transpiring today, we've warned you was going to happen inevitably. There are solutions to these problems. We just are not doing, we're not engaging in them. And I know we got an election cycle right now. And basically it's come down to what again, the Republicans seem like they're going to be the law and order. That's running on law and order. And the Democrats are running on abortion. Again, I can go back to James Carville, who was Billy Clinton's guy back in the day. And he said it's the economy, stupid. And it is. For whatever reason it may be, I don't know. For whatever reason it may be, I don't know why Republicans are not going full force and engaging on this issue. Maybe they just don't know how. Maybe the ones that are running, they're just not bright enough. Do I think that law and order is an issue? Yeah, is it? They had a television show named Law and Order, for crying out loud. Do they think that they might be able to package it a little bit better? Probably. But again, most Americans are none too happy. Obviously, they're none too happy about issues of crime and the things that we're seeing on TV. But they also don't like the fact that their grocery bills just won't go down, and they continue to go up. And was it the Disney song there, the Bare Necessities? It's the bare necessities. The bare necessities are not going down. No. Inflation today. Wholesale prices rose 0.4%. Again, more than expected. Was expected to be a 0.2% gain. 12-month PPI rose 8.5%, with slight deceleration from the 8.7% in August. You exclude food and energy and trade services, it wasn't as high. Again, necessities, stuff we need to buy, we utilize every single day, and that hasn't changed. Now, I've kind of made this perfectly clear. Do you really think that the Fed can do anything about energy? Do you really think that the Fed, and again, energy, which goes into, petrochemicals, not so much chemicals, petroleum products, gas, whatever, all of these things have to do with getting food to our tables. I know all these people are like, I love the farm to table thing. Yeah, me too. But the farmer still needs to put gas in his freaking tractor. Tesla doesn't make a tractor. And you still have to transport. And certain items that actually are utilized in fertilizer. Come on, people. This is all self-inflicted. The Fed can't fix that. What the Fed going to make everybody starve? Is that what we're going to do? Is that the answer? It hurts my head. It really does. And all these pundits on TV, Jay Powell, what did Linda Mister say yesterday? We're going to keep raising rates. What the flip is that going to do? What is that going to do about the bare necessities zip? Nothing. Judy Shelton today. Again. Echo chamber. As you all know, I love Judy. Since when do unelected monetary officials have the authority to tell political leaders what to do? Even if duly elected leaders try to make good on campaign promises, they face hurdles if monetary authorities, domestic and global, disagree. What happened in Britain is a cautionary tale for nations that have relinquished to central banks the keys to economic performance. Again, we went over this here on the program. Liz Truss went against the cabal, went against the elites when it came to lowering taxes. They don't want that. They don't want that. And again, you had the Bank of England, Mark Carney, former governor, Bank of England, comes out. Oh my God, this is terrible. And look at this, bonds start selling off. Well, what did she do? She reversed her decision. Did it help with the UK bond markets? No. UK is a freaking disaster. Honestly, it's a disaster. Okay? People, I can't tell you. Europe is completely addicted to cheap Russian fuel. They're not getting it. What do you think is going to happen? They don't know what to do. They are caught right now. And like I said, if this war goes on, you're going to see all sorts of populist revolution type stuff happening this winter when people can't heat their freaking houses. You know, the UK, well, Liz Truss, she pulled back on the fracking ban in the UK. And they're actually going door to door in areas. I guess part of the rule is you got to convince 50% of the people in the surrounding area to allow for fracking to occur. I mentioned this yesterday. The UK could be energy independent. They could be energy independent. Instead, they're going to have 3-hour rolling blackouts this winter. Anyway, we'll go back to Judy Shelton's piece. She's talking about the UK Bank of England and what they're putting the pressure on the government here. I think it's a little bit different here in the United States. I think that our politicians put pressure on the Fed. And again, what the Fed is doing right now, there's been a lot of talk as of late, and the Fed doesn't have any credibility. There was a big argument today on CBC. Steve Leisman is a big ass kiss to government authorities. He's the one that asks the questions at the various Fed meetings, and he doesn't throw softballs, he throws beach balls. He throws beach balls because it's his crowd, it's his crew. Okay, he likes his cushy position, and he doesn't make for a very good journalist by any stretch of the imagination. Until he questions the overall credibility of the Fed. How dare you question it? The Fed is raising rates, so look at the markets. The markets are obviously paying attention. No, the markets are paying attention to the Fed. They're just taking a look at the wreckage that's occurring due to the Fed. Fed doesn't know what the hell it's doing. That's what the markets are reacting to, is the Fed doesn't know what the hell it's doing. It did know what it was doing last year. The damn Fed told us that they weren't going to raise rates in 2022. We said back in 2021, you might want to start raising rates little by little. A quarter basis point here, a little bit here, pulling back on all the nonsensical bond buying that you were doing. But no. No. We got government programs we got to fund. Again, it's a bit of a news flash. People think, Fed pivot, Fed bond. Most of our debt is in short-term instruments. And let's just say that our treasury auctions haven't been going like gangbusters. Many foreign nations have pulled back on the amount of bonds they've been buying from the United States. We're $31 trillion in debt that, again, we roll over on a regular basis. If interest in U.S. debt wanes, someone's going to have to buy it. That'll be the Fed. Fed will just start purchasing bonds again, start printing more money. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, Bank of England warned Wednesday that other parts of the non-bank financial system could be vulnerable to sharp rises in government bond yields. Late yesterday, markets were way up yesterday, and there was a pullback. Bank of England said, well, you better get all you pension funds better get your house in order by Friday. You better sell off the bonds you need because we're not buying any more after Friday until they end up buying more. Again, at this point in time, I don't even know why you pay attention to any of these central bankers. I mean, they're just going to change their mind. It's going to change their mind. Oh, well, it's, based upon what what's happening here. Come on, guys. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, dark days ahead for Europe as lack of Russian oil could spark worst energy crisis in decades. I'm going through this, and there's no spare capacity at all. It's our prosperity. This is the top EU diplomat. Our prosperity has been based on cheap energy coming from Russia. Yeah, because Angela Merkel was one of the greatest European leaders of all time. That's what we were told. Man, oh man, it was embarrassing. We had this president named Donald Trump that actually, told them what they didn't want to hear, was actually honest about their situation, and they chose not to listen. They chose not to listen. Let's rely upon Vladimir Putin. That was part of Vladimir Putin's calculation. Vladimir Putin he's pleasantly surprised in the fact that this part of his campaign and the fact that his bank accounts are full. He's still getting his energy out. Prices have gone up. He's done all right with that. I think that he's kind of surprised that the European Union hasn't cracked yet. Again, it hasn't been a year. Hasn't been a year into this. When did the conflict start? Was it middle to the end of February, if I'm not mistaken. Cold winter. Yeah, you're going to see some of these nations change course. It is what it is. UK crisis spilling into U.S. junk debt. Collateralized loan obligation prices have been hit by the slump in British pound and the unwinding of UK pension investments. These CLOs are held by investors around the world, including British pensions, insurers, and funds that got caught up in the recent crash. Many of them, these funds are selling these collateralized loan obligations because they have to. They need to get liquid. They've got margin calls, which is fascinating because a lot of these collateralized loan obligations are now trading at discounts to their intrinsic value, what they're actually worth. And certain smart funds are stepping in and buying them at those low levels. That was something that we did during the financial crisis with many closed-end funds, which were trading well below what the breakup value was of the actual stocks that were in the fund. Anyway, similar type of situation right now. This is exactly what we've been telling you. Okay, it has been happening. You get all this information, you get these numbers coming in, PPI, all these things, and it doesn't show what's really happening, what's really going on the ground, what's truly happening. Trans-Pacific shipping rates are down 75%. Now, again, if you were to start to taking a look at economic activity, things that are happening within your country, around the globe, wouldn't you take a look? Wouldn't that be one of the things you would look at is shipping rates? Because, shipping rates are going through the roof. They obviously know there's a lot being shipped out. If they've dropped 75%, what does that tell you? Not a lot of stuff being moved from here, there, and everywhere. Again, simple supply and demand. Same thing. Yeah, it's obvious. Anyway, another way to track actual retail performance without price inflation, obscuring reality, is to examine shipping volume and shipping rates. In the summer, import volumes to the United States began dropping off a cliff, indicating that consumer demand was indeed being affected by inflation stagflation. Now, trans-Pacific shipping rates have also plunged at least 75%. Shipping companies reporting that empty cargo containers are becoming frequent and freight to the United States, with companies scrambling to adjust after 2 years of boats overflowing with goods. Again, this has been going on, and if you think that this has anything to do with what the Fed is doing, you're crazy. Okay. And again, companies are still keeping prices high. I don't know if you saw Pepsi had unbelievable numbers, but what they had, the prices that they had to institute in their goods, what was it, up ridiculous, 17%, pretty much. And again, the various different things that they sell, Frito-Lay, all these other products that Pepsi puts out there. Again, we're paying it. Don't have a choice. The bare necessities, you don't have a choice. Meaning, guess what? You're cutting back elsewhere. Can the Fed do anything about this? No, not a damn thing. Janet Yellen and Joe Biden. Joe Biden was interviewed on CNN by Jake Tapper, and he's continuing to sound, well, I don't know. I don't think we're going to be in inflation. If we do, it's going to be light, a recession, excuse me. I think it's going to be light. Buddy, Jake, how come you didn't come back and say, hey, listen, we've had, a couple quarters of negative economic growth. You know that, right? You know that, right? Same thing with Janet Yellen. Economy is doing very well. We've had 2 quarters of negative economic growth. What do you a-holes want a participation trophy or something like that? It's not good. Negative economic growth is not good. This is ridiculous is what it is. But again, I don't know. Again, reaching out to dumb voters out there at this point in time. Mohammed El-Arian. Again, he used to manage money for us at Markowski Investments back in the day. He's now president of a college there. Queen's College in the UK. Still works for Alliance. Says the economy's starting to go through the windshield. Blames the Fed for a totally avoidable crisis. Yes, Mohammed's gotten on our page. Right? Totally avoidable. Yet we continue. What did this Fed governor say? What did Linda Mester from Cleveland say? Who the frick cares what she said? Okay, who the hell cares? They're wrong all the time. They're wrong. Why do we even listen to these people? Anyway, more news coming out in regards to these cuts in energy by the Saudis. Saudi Arabia defied U.S. warnings ahead of OPEC production cut. Yeah, we warned them. We warned them, you better not do this. This is not good. Better not do this. And we lobbied and we lobbied and we lobbied. And OPEC said, go blank yourself. And you know what the funny thing was? You want to see how full of shit Joe Biden and the Democrats are? They pushed for OPEC to delay the cut in production by a month. You can do it, but just wait until after the midterms. They don't give a shit about how they want these prices to be up. People, this is by design. They just don't want it before the election. And again, how is it that nobody can actually put 2 and 2 together with this? All you journalists are that stupid? Oh, yeah, you don't do it. Wait until after the election. Then you go ahead and do that. What does that tell you? Anyway, and this is the response. This is classic. This is classic. Chucky Schumer and the Democrats, they've come up with something that they know is never going to pass in a million years. It's called the OPEC bill to take on Saudi Arabia. Momentum is building in Congress in support of legislation that would take on the OPEC Plus group of oil-producing nations that announced cuts in defiance of nobody messes with Joe. Yeah, Chucky Schumer's legislation involves, wait for it, filing a lawsuit. We're going to sue. Yeah, we're going to call our lawyers up. We're going to call our lawyers up and we're going to sue you, OPEC, saying it's antitrust violations. Oh, I know they're shaking right now. I know. They're shaking while they're sitting on their mega yachts in the Mediterranean right now. They're really scared of you, Chucky. They're really scared. I mean, this is a joke. I mean, again, I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer, but again, these are the people we voted for. This is the type of leadership we had. This is the joke. This is a show. OPEC. The reason why we're paying so much, the reason why OPEC matters once again, is because we have decided to stop drilling, stop putting up pipelines. We gave up our dominance in this area. I know you. Well, we've got leases out there and more. Just shut up, okay? Enough with your BS, please. That was one of the Treasury officials was on CNBC this morning talking about the wonders of the Biden administration and releasing oil from the SPR. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Spare us, please. Anyway, on a side story here. It's interesting. Talking about problems we have in education here in this country. This is out of the UK. American universities continue to falter in world rankings. China is starting to rise. A number of U.S. schools in the top 100 list shrinks. University of Oxford keeps its number one spot. These are research institutions. They named Oxford the world's leading research university for the 7th straight year. U.S. takes 7 of the top 10 spots. Britain takes 3. But among the top 100 universities, a number of those in the United States fell to 34 from 43 between 2018 and this year. The number of Chinese universities in the top 100 has increased from 2 to 7. Well, maybe at some point in time, I guess China's going to start learning how to make stuff for themselves rather than copy our stuff. Again, easy to fix this. Stop investing in woke majors that mean nothing, that are absolutely useless. Just stop. Again, you are forcing the taxpayers to lend money to help pay for degrees that are useless. Do you think that these Chinese universities, do you think that they got gender study degrees? Huh? Women's studies, whatever the hell that is. I mean, what do you do with that? Where do you take that? I mean, how does that put food on your table? I could be an activist, I guess. Work for some nonprofit somewhere. Probably not. And hey, listen, you want to study that stuff? That's fine. It's real easy, okay? They got this thing, it's called the internet. And you can look into books and lectures, and you can, even if you don't want to do that, you don't want to go buy the books at Amazon. You can go get yourself, it's what's called a library card. Yeah, a library card. And you can go to libraries and you take books out and you can learn all this stuff by yourself. Just saying. The gig rule. Gig worker rule. Why now? Why? I, listen, I try to convince people. I used to do this way back. This was back in the early days when you had high deductible health insurance coupled with health savings accounts. It was a real savings there. I had clients and people that were on staff in a myriad of different industries. And I said, you got to go try to convince human resources to become an independent contractor. And you could save money on your insurance, your health insurance. You can utilize a tax code to write off certain parts and certain things. And people did it. Again, there's something to be said for being your own boss. But why would you blow up these business models? And I'm just, people that are working for Lyft and Uber, you do realize that if you are classified as a worker, then you got to show up for work, right? You got a boss. You got to show up for work. I don't even know how these things are going to go about operating. Anyway, it is what it is. Interesting piece here. Again, I was talking to my mom this morning. Her house, she's waiting. She's lucky. They got people. They're working on her place already. My brother Michael's place, he's still waiting. He's got some adjusters and things that have to come out. Again, Southwest Florida. Mom's been volunteering with her church and going around and helping people out. And devastation, trailer parks, other places, helping people box things up and deal with what's taking place. The conventional wisdom, the BS out there put on the left talking about that this is some sort of climate change event. It's a great piece by Holman Jenkins today talking about, since Hurricane Katrina, we saw the damage there. Again, Hurricane Alley. Since that point in time, you had an additional 4 million people plus move to the state of Florida, which just so happens to get hit by hurricanes on a regular basis. And I remember Charlie ripping right near where I lived. 120 people so far that we know right now. It's a terrible number. Died, mostly due to drowning. Ian is Florida's most deadly storm in decades. And quite frankly, it's a demonstration of just how much better Florida has gotten in dealing with hurricanes. Category 4 storm that landed on Miami in September 1926 killed 372 at a time when Dade County, the entire population was barely 100,000. Since then, water's up about 10 inches. There's more CO2 in the air. And Miami-Dade's population has grown 27 times since then. What does it mean? Well, obviously you've got technology, you've got the way people are able to communicate, building codes, a myriad of different things that people feel safe. It was fascinating. He points this out. You want to make a comparison, okay? Can't do anything about hurricanes. They're going to come. You can get out of the way. You got to wait, try to avoid them, but they're going to come. And again, you talk about how horrible this storm is, and it's bad. It was bad. And they're going to be cleaning up for a long time. 120 people were killed. Anybody know how many people were killed last year, Texas, during the blackouts that they had? Anybody remember? 246. 246 people died because the electricity went off. And they're saying that the actual number is much higher based upon mortality rates, people that died after the fact. They're saying it could be close to 700 people. Was that a hurricane or was that event man-made? Yeah, everyone's grand desire for freaking windmills and all this other BS. That killed more people than this massive Category 4 storm did. That's the reality, people. That's the reality. And again, it's something that, again, nobody's talking about. Great point by Holman Jenkins' column today. Going to end on Going to end on this one. Troy Aikman, and I hope he doesn't freaking apologize. I mean, that's part of the problem. You got to stop making apologies. Okay, you're in the public light and you say something that happens to offend a couple people, and they start yelling and screaming. Sorry, yeah. I I'm sorry I offended you, but what I said wasn't wrong. Really wasn't bad. Yeah, Troy Aikman's in hot water. He made a comment during the Raiders Kansas City Chiefs game. And I don't know if you saw the game. It was a really freaking bad call. It's one of the things that really bothers me about football now. Some of these calls that they're making. I know. Listen, I understand. You don't want people to get hurt. You don't want them to have concussions. If that's the case, okay, during preseason, you had them wear these extra layer of helmet on top of their helmet. I don't know. You're going to change the rules. But it was a guy did a strip sack, knocked the ball away from the quarterback, then hit him, and he got called for roughing the passer play. It was nothing but a good play. Anyway, Troy Aikman said, my hope is the NFL competition committee looks at this in its next set of meetings and, we take the dresses off. Oh my God, it's misogynistic. How many women play in the NFL? Seriously, how many women play in the NFL? How many women have ever played in the honestly. Okay. Yeah, I remember, oh my God, Vanderbilt, was this last year? They had their kicker got hurt. They grabbed a girl off the soccer team, and she kicked. It was so courageous and brave. And I don't know, the Vanderbilt team was all excited. They said it was the greatest moment of their entire lives. And that's why Vanderbilt sucks at football and they lose every year. Because it sounds like they're wearing dresses. Yeah, they have many tackle football leagues out there. Oh, sure. From time to time, there's a girl that decides that she wants to play tackle football, and if they want to try out my team, you can. But because he said you want it, you people get offended over stuff like this. And again, some of these are sportscasters as well. Do us a favor. Don't cover football, okay? Go cover something else. Anyway, watchdogonwallstreet.com. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody.